When it comes to super ninjas in Naruto, everybody already knows about Naruto and Sasuke, basically legends, because these two are basically destined to be some of the mightiest beings of all time because they're literally directly descended from the Sage of Six Paths, the god shinobi being that helped create the moon and seal up Kaguya and the Ten Tails beast. And these two are basically reincarnations of godlike beings. So here's the thing. Naruto characters can use their inner energy or chakra with ninja training, and they can do a whole bunch of supernatural type of ninja magic voodoo type stuff. Some ninjas even have their own transformations. They study and learn sage mode transformation type stuff that amplify their stats and can shoot different elements at the same time. Some ninjas specialize in healing. Heck, due to Naruto's genetics, he can use pretty much every element, something not all ninjas can do, and make clones and stuff. But something that most top tier ninja can do that makes them overpower is their form of blast power. Somebody could say their form of energy projection. There's a lot of different ways you can get this. Some are born with it, some can learn it, some can copy others' techniques because of certain eyes can awaken different techniques that other people can't do. But what do you do in the world of Naruto if you're not skilled with ninjutsu, blast power type of elemental manipulation type stuff you gotta learn and train to get? That's when characters Rock Lee come into the conversation. He's one of those characters where he's not really good with little trickery, illusion type of spell type jutsu like genjutsu and stuff, or ninjutsu, aka ninja techniques that allow you to do crazy stuff like make clones of yourself, blast, and all that good stuff. He was trash at that. So he said, well, whatever I'm lacking in, I'm going to make up for it in physical stuff, aka hand-to-hand combat, taijutsu type stuff. Just straightforward fighting stuff that we all love. It's literally stated he can't use ninjutsu, which is why he doesn't use it. He has no talent. He's all about hard work. Even though this isn't a martial arts only based show like Baki, he's basically the Baki of the series. He's a beast because of his pure hand-to-hand combat skills, physical strength, speed, and all that good stuff. But let's get into it. Most characters in Naruto use their inner energy, or one could say chakra, to produce ninja-style techniques like Fire Blast and a lot of other different things, but Rock Lee's different. Uses his ninja training thanks to Might Guy to give him the ability to open the 8 inner gates. These are basically limiters of which your chakra flows through it. Your inner energy flows through all the different types. These are basically, one could say, power and stat multipliers, but it comes at a price. For example, the healing gate heals him ridiculously fast, blah, blah, blah. This is something that seems to be extreme because even top tier ninja that are Jonin level can't necessarily do it. He's saying a kid can open the 8 inner gates, implying that's not something everybody can do. Rock Lee simply wanted to prove that just because you can't use genjutsu or ninjutsu, that you can still be a great ninja. Bringing up these gates also leads me to talking about his fighting style, because some of these gates go hand in hand with the fighting style he uses. One thing that needs to be set straight is that he's a big fan of kicking. Trust me, you see it a lot in his fights because one of his moves is like the literal leaf hurricane. When it comes to fighting skills in taijutsu, he has fighting arts that even if you're stronger than him or have the advantage over him, it's hard to fight him because of the unpredictability type nature, like this drunken fighting style Lee uses. This being Kimaru, for example, even said he was too hard to predict. Part of this is his speed and fighting skills and stuff too, which is why he's able to dodge all this stuff. Another part of it is his tricky fighting style, which helps him to land hits on somebody he might not otherwise. Can't read his moves. There's a technique he kicks the opponent in the air first, over and over again. Then he wraps him up in bandages to where he does some spinning pile driver tombstone type stuff, spinning while drilling. Older him, along with the leaf hurricane, he knows other stuff called the leaf rising gust, for example, to kick the sword out of Kasami's hand. I mean, his name is Rock Lee. It makes sense for him to be similar to Bruce Lee, for him to actually have skills with other weapons, not just focusing on raw strength. Like he can use nunchuck, for example. I think I should mention if he opens enough gates, he vastly changes his appearance, basically because of the crazy amount of blood flow that's going on. There's no exact multiplier by how much his power increases from each gate, but just know this. They even said the word tens of times more power than usual. Even if the body destroys itself, the reason why Kakashi thought this was dangerous because it will make the character stronger regardless of how durable their body is, destroying it as a price. There's 8 gates. Rock Lee can only open 5 of them when he was young. During the war arc, he actually learns the 6th one. To be honest though, if you see Rock Lee pull out any gates against you, just know you're a formidable opponent if he has to pull this out. If you can get some numbers on what these transformations look like when it comes to him actually using these gates, it's stated in the Naruto verse that the human body only utilizes 20% of their muscle energy or muscular energy. They even go as far as say dozens in some translations on how much one of these could multiply his power possibly. Lee is one of those that can't open all 8, but we know somebody that can. It's literally confirmed that if you was to achieve 8 gates, it would make you surpass all Hokages. Unfortunately, this isn't a Might Guy video, but yeah. I want you guys to realize I don't even have to really rely on him opening gates because his physical strength is just absurd in base form without him opening the 8 inner gates or some of the gates. In fact, he's such a physical specimen, he's considered fast even when he's weighed down. These weights People were underestimating the weight of it, but when he dropped it off, they caused a huge explosion showing how much he was really weighed down. So his physicals and everything is boosted when he takes this crap off. But when he had him on for one, literally everybody called him fast when he was weighed down with weights and was able to stop a kick from very early in the series Sasuke, before Sasuke, got fast as crap and stuff later on and became a beast. Naruto in the beginning of this series was trash because he was way too slow for Rock Lee, weighed down and just got overpowered, reacted to like it was nothing. Rock Lee even tosses him with a spinning kick and Naruto goes sliding. His physical might was so strong for his age that during this time, young ninjas like Sasuke thought it had to be some type of ninjutsu when it really wasn't. He was completely too fast for Sasuke when he was wearing weights. Again, thinking that it was just ninjutsu. When Sasuke had this lower tier version of the Sharingan, see through his techniques, he thought being able to see it coming because of this Sharingan would make a difference, but it also has its limitations because your body has to be fast enough. Neither genjutsu or ninjutsu. Yep. Your body has to be able to keep up for it to actually matter. So in other words, somebody like Rock Lee can tell you he's going to punch you in the jaw. You try to guard the jaw, he still lands it, even though he told you what he's about to do. He's too fast for you to block. Don't underestimate the strength of Sasuke when he's young, because even when he's young, he can still overpower big heirs that are way bigger himself with a simple strike. All these leaves before they hit the ground, he's determined to get all of them with his speed. And believe it or not, he actually succeeds in doing so. I think we all can agree when it comes to these younger ninja during these early days, he was way too fast in his base state until everybody kind of got faster later on in the series. He's one of those characters, even while young, he would do 500 consecutive push-ups. Then he'll double it because he believes in hard work and dedication. 1,200 double skips, practice dummies 2,000 times. Like he would do absurd numbers of reps. Doing this to the tree, kicking it over and over again, getting his taijutsu up. Even younger. He's literally got labeled genius of hard work. Here's another scene of Lee practicing over and over again. Even when he's damaged from battle, he would do push-ups and sit-ups with one arm if he has to. Imagine doing almost 200 push-ups and stuff with one arm and you just battle damage from your leg being broke from a previous battle and crap. Determination. Hard work. In later arcs, he still continues his training off screen and will exercise for 24 straight hours. Stated they thinking it's impossible to do something like this, but that's something Rock Lee would totally do. Rock Lee is able to physically pull into the ground like this and rip out all this crap with brute strength. His punches can send Gaara flying, and Lee is one of the only students that actually can do the lotus technique because of the gate stuff. To split this big old log like this with raw strength and striking ability. His base form is strong enough to do stuff like this, but when he decides to transform, skin changing color and everything, his punches in this awakened state literally just make shockwaves. Without even counting this though. Remember this technique I brought up earlier? This gigantic lotus drill type of technique? He drills them into concrete, creating that much of an impact. In rubble, it shows his striking power. This ninja that can manipulate sand blasted him with these sand type of attacks. Look at the crater behind him. He had to withstand. He's still conscious from all that impact. Let's talk about the gates again, like I brought up earlier. When he opens a certain amount of gates, the third one, that's when his appearance actually changes a lot. And then he opens the fourth gate. Him simply running pretty much produces some building-like destruction looking crap. The people that are watching in the stands can feel the aftershock. You can see the impact that he's able to produce with these shockwaves. Pretty much dancing around his opponent with strength and speed. Like, it's like this. Talking about speed blitzing someone with pure taijutsu, strength and speed. This attack could definitely level buildings based on the impact produced. I would say based on the visual evidence we got when it comes to Rock Lee's striking power and such, especially when you talk about his performance with Gaara, I would go as far as saying if Rock Lee was to kick one of these support beams, whatever, I would say he, in his base state, he should have the strength to kick him down with raw strength, even if they're stone, based on his ability to be able to kick trees or split big trees in half or rip big chunks of the trees out of the ground with his strength. I think his striking power should be more. When he opened several gates while a kid, even if he's just opened 3 or 4, I believe, based on the visual evidence we got, he should be able to collapse a large building like this, for example, if he had to, with just strikes. I want to hear how hard you think he can hit. I mean, even the movie writers, even though this is not canon, suggest that he could level up a building if he really felt like it. Like in this particular occasion in his base form, he hit this being so hard it made a big collateral like that. And even in cases where he straight up punches so hard that it does all of this to the floor. Look at how everything's cratering in, creating another boom. Even the places below, he blasts through with his punches, all because of this massive speed blitz punching in his base state. He's not in Gates form. His face is red because he's mad. It's not because of Gates. But it's a filler, take as you will, but it's heavily implied he could bust through a building if he felt like it, or tear down a building, you know what I mean, in base form. While it is true that Rock Lee and Mike Guy are not the same being, they have a lot of similarities, and I'm not trying to make this a Mike Guy video, but there's some assumption we can make based on the fact that he can open at least 6 gates. He may not be as strong as Mike Guy when it comes to opening the 7th or even the 8th gate, but one could say he could kind of be comparable to a Mike Guy that can at least open the 6th gate, even if you want to say he's slightly below, maybe like 15% below or something, he still should be somewhere comparable or comparable to that at least. One can argue with certain gates he could hang in there with tailed beasts, like if he opens the 6th gate like Mike Guy did. Like you see right here, for example, Mike Guy was using the 6th gate and was sticking some tailed beasts, cloaked, might I add, you know, the cloaked versions of tailed beasts. Like on this occasion, for example, I know it's filler, but they was fighting some tailed beasts, cloaked. Even though they're two different people, you can see the similarities like I already said. Speed blitzing and clotheslining the beast. Lee is shown in this filler stuff to actually damage it. So I think it's a fair assumption to say, yeah, he can definitely hang on par with certain tail beasts. We're not even going to get on how big or how much blast power these tail beasts can produce, even in lower states. Thanks to the fact he's able to open similar gates like the gate 6 at least. With the gate 6 open at least, he could at least devastate a mountain, right? We've literally seen on screen Rock Lee and other users using the 6th gate, other taijutsu characters, literally punch a meteor apart. So I guess that kind of proves it. Yeah, he could definitely punch apart multiple mountains, especially older. But he didn't do this alone, but he probably could still do it alone if he wanted to. With his striking power. Let's just face the facts. Rock Lee's punches are basically like nuclear bomb, depending on which gate he decides to use on you, right? Rock Lee's strong enough to fight beings that have KK Genkais that have bones, that allows the user to use their bones to fight it with. He can even land hits on beings this strong, parrying their attacks with his muscle strength and all that good stuff. When he takes his weights off, notice how fast he is, where Gara, the ninja that was fighting him, couldn't see where he was at. There's no absolute hard numbers on saying how fast he is, but he's massively faster than the normal human eye can see at the very least. His sand was an automatic defense, even if he couldn't react, Gara's was, but Lee's speed allowed him to hit him anyway. Speed blitz. Literally running circles around him like, you see this mess? Just landing hits at will. A good way to understand his speed difference between his base form and his transformation is like, think of it this way. There's a difference between being a blur and being straight up invisible when you move. It's implied when Rock Lee opens enough gates, he can just straight up become straight up invisible to everybody. To the point where people ask, where did they go? Like they're literally looking up, but he still can't see him anywhere. Beings like Shikamaru say they can't even see what's going on because of the speed. I'm not a mathematician or nothing, but it's heavily implications that Rock Lee is massively faster than the speed of sound, because for a grown full-size human to be completely invisible to human eyesight, some folks on the internet, if you randomly Google stuff like this, have their own calculations on the matter of bare minimum needing to be at least 38,000 miles per hour to be able to be like this. And Rock Lee and Mike Guy in their base states can do this. Imagine their Super Saiyan transformation gates revealed mode. So like this, he's already faster than the eye can see, but then like this, he's invisible to human eyesight. So a fair estimation would be Rock Lee being able to move at with 30 times the speed of sound seems fair, right? We can argue even higher based on how strong these top tiers get later on in the saga and stuff, but I'm just trying to be a bare minimum here. Also, I'm not trying to sound like a human calculator. Keep in mind, I'm talking about stuff when he's still a kid. So there's implications he's already fast like this, not counting these evolutions he's improved. You know he's training off screen. Another good way to understand how fast he is to understand what is fast in the Naruto universe standard. In the early days, while young, this being, for example, you can get an idea of how much faster Rock Lee is when you get an idea of how fast she is. Notice how she was doubting Rock Lee, him dropping them weights. She was thinking it wasn't going to make no difference. Look how shocked she looks. And she was shocked when she saw Rock Lee finally land a hit on him. So if she's impressed by his speed, and we know she can react to sound-based attacks with raw reaction speed, because she was able to literally block and wave away sound itself. So he has to be massively faster than this if other characters that are not as fast as Rock Lee can react to stuff speed of sound level at least. React and counter and use it as defense at the same time when it comes to her fan and stuff. Just like how Mike Guy can do 6 gates techniques that allows him to punch the air so hard he makes friction and makes his own fireballs and blast attacks basically. That's something Rock Lee can do as well, but Mike Guy calls it the morning peacock. Rock Lee calls it the morning chicken. Let me stop. I mean, I brought up speed earlier, but I think this is a fair way to bring it back up again. There's a lot of different calculations out there about how fast you would need to punch to ignite the fire in the air. So way faster than the speed of sound, at least. To be able to punch so fast, you make your own flames and flames shoot at you, you know, at the bare minimum, right? But what do you guys think? How strong do you think Rock Lee is? Do you think he used the 8th gate by an adult? If he can, that would automatically make him a planet buster. But what do you guys think on that? You got to respect Rock Lee. I wish he had more screen time, though. But respect him regardless. But before I get going, I gotta say thanks for the donations, everybody. Respect Rock Lee, though. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.